There's a particular kind of discomfort that has nothing to do with what has happened. It comes from not knowing what is about to happen. The test results you're waiting on. The conversation that hasn't happened yet. The decision that can go either way. Most of us would say we're afraid of bad news, but that's not quite accurate. What we're actually afraid of is the space before we know. Uncertainty has a weight to it that confirmed bad news often doesn't. When something difficult is finally known, the mind shifts into problem-solving mode. It adjusts. It adapts. But uncertainty keeps the mind suspended, unable to move forward, unable to let go. Caught in a loop of possibility where every outcome feels equally likely and equally threatening. We rehearse disasters that may never arrive. We prepare for conversations that may never happen. And we exhaust ourselves fighting something that doesn't yet exist. Neuroscience has a clear explanation for this. The brain's primary function is not to think. It's to predict. Every moment of every day, your brain is constructing a model of the world and anticipating what comes next. This predictive system is ancient. It evolved long before language, long before conscious reasoning. And its job is not to make you happy. Its job is to keep you alive. When the future is unclear, that system cannot build a reliable model. And an unreliable model feels like danger. Not because danger is confirmed, but because the brain treats unpredictability as a threat in itself. Researchers at University College London demonstrated this in a striking way. Participants were told they might receive a mild electric shock. Some were told there was a 50% chance. Others were told the shock was certain. The group with certainty, even certainty of pain, reported significantly less stress than the group living with uncertainty. Knowing something bad will happen is less distressing than not knowing whether it will. The mind, it turns out, would rather have a confirmed problem than an unresolved question. Before this feels like a design flaw, consider the logic. In an uncertain environment, preparing for the worst is often the safest strategy. An ancestor who assumed danger and was wrong lost nothing. An ancestor who assumed safety and was wrong may not have survived. The bias toward uncertainty as threat kept our species alive for hundreds of thousands of years. The problem is not the system. The problem is that the system was not designed for the kind of uncertainty modern life produces. Waiting for a job offer, navigating a relationship that feels unstable, making a decision without enough information. These are not predators in tall grass, but the brain responds to them as if they might be. Here's a different way to hold uncertainty. Not as the absence of safety, but as the presence of possibility. When an outcome is unknown, it means nothing has been decided yet. Every direction remains open. Every possibility still exists. The mind interprets that openness as danger. But openness is not danger. It's just openness. The discomfort of uncertainty is not evidence that something is wrong. It's evidence that something has not yet been resolved. Those are not the same thing. Most of the things worth doing in life begin in uncertainty. a relationship in its early stages, a creative project without a clear outcome, a decision made with incomplete information. Certainty is comfortable, but it's also limiting. The things we know for sure are rarely the things that change us. It's those unresolved questions, the ones we sit with long enough to understand, that shape who we become. There's a capacity that quietly separates people who move through life with steadiness from those who are constantly destabilized. It's not intelligence. It's not confidence. It's the ability to tolerate not knowing, to remain functional while the outcome is still unclear, to resist the urge to force a resolution before one is available. This tolerance is not passive. It's one of the most active and demanding things a person can do. The ancient Stoics understood this. They distinguished carefully between what is within our control and what is not. The outcome of an uncertain situation is almost never within our control. But how we hold the uncertainty always is. Not through forced optimism, not through distraction, but through the quiet recognition that not knowing is simply part of being alive. Every life contains more open questions than answered ones. The ones who suffer least from uncertainty are not the ones who have more answers. They're the ones who have made peace with the questions themselves. The unknown is not your enemy. It's simply the part of the story that hasn't been written yet. And demanding that it be written now doesn't make you safer. It just makes the waiting harder. You don't need to know how it ends to continue moving through it. You only need to be willing to stay present while it unfolds. That's not weakness. That is the quietest kind of courage there is.